Listen, I have been tending bar at the Fractured Comet for the better part of 3 cycles now, and I thought I had seen everything. Every species, every temperament, every possible way a sentient being could embarrass themselves after too many gravity-defying cocktails. I am vexed, by the way. 4 arms, purple skin, excellent multitasking abilities, and a tolerance for nonsense that would make a saint weep with envy. The Fractured Comet sits on station Kairos 9, which, if you are not familiar with galactic geography, is basically the armpit of the Andromeda wing. We get traders, smugglers, the occasional diplomat who got lost, and more than our fair share of idiots looking to start fights. My boss, Quillix, a blob of sentient gel who speaks in bubbles, always says the same thing. Keep the drinks flowing, keep the fights minimal, and for the love of the ancients, do not let anyone die on the premises. Bad for business, apparently. So there I was, third shift on a cycle-end evening, polishing glasses with 2 hands while mixing a Venusian slammer with the other 2. The bar was moderately full. A group of Helexians arguing about trade routes in the corner. A lone Korgath mercenary nursing something that smelled like battery acid mixed with regret. The usual crowd making the usual noise. Then the door hissed open, and this thing walked in. Now let me be clear. When I say thing, I do not mean it as an insult. Well, maybe a little, but mostly I mean it in the sense that I had absolutely no frame of reference for what I was looking at. It was bipedal, which was normal enough. Maybe 5.5 feet tall, covered in this weird fabric that looked both primitive and somehow purpose-built. Dark pants, a jacket with more pockets than any sentient being reasonably needs. Boots that had seen some serious action, but the face. Oh, the face. Flat, mostly. 2 eyes front-facing like a predator. No scales, no fur, no protective plating. Just this smooth, tan skin that looked like it would tear if you sneezed on it wrong. Hair on top of its head, dark and messy, and when it smiled I saw these flat teeth, except for 4 slightly pointed ones that sent a very primitive part of my brain screaming into the void. The human walked up to my bar like it owned the place. "Evening," it said, and I swear on my ancestral spawning pool, its voice had this casual confidence that made my back tentacles twitch. "What do you recommend for someone who just spent 6 hours in a cargo hold with a malfunctioning life support system?" I blinked. All 4 eyes, one after another. "You are a human." Last time I checked, yeah. It slid onto a bar stool which creaked ominously under even its slight weight. "Name is Marcus. And before you ask, yes, I know humans are not supposed to be this far out. Long story, involves a very angry arms dealer, a rigged card game, and a garbage scow with a broken navigation system. Do not recommend it." I just stared. We all had heard the rumors about humans, death world species, from a planet so hostile that every single day was a survival lottery. Gravity that would crush a Helikian atmosphere that was barely breathable. Weather patterns that could kill you in 7 different ways before breakfast. And the wildlife. Sweet, merciful void. The wildlife. Are you going to serve me? Or should I interpret the staring as some kind of cultural greeting? Marcus asked, 1 eyebrow raised. Apparently, humans could move parts of their face independently for communication. Terrifying. I cleared my throat. All of them. I have 3. What do you drink? What do you have that will not kill me? Good question. Excellent question, actually. Most of our standard offerings are toxic to carbon-based life forms with your particular chemical makeup. So, water then. We have 17 types of water. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. The sound made the Korgath mercenary glance over, and moving instinctively toward his weapon. Just regular H2O, friend. Surprise me with the temperature. I filled a glass with standard hydration liquid, slightly chilled. Marcus took a sip, nodded, and glanced around the bar. Nice place. Cozy. I like the lighting. Very moody. The lighting is optimized for 17 different visual spectrum ranges. Sure. Moody. The Helixians in the corner had noticed our new patron. Their conversation dropped to hushed clicks and whistles. The universal translator in my ear converted it to worried speculation. One of them kept saying the word dangerous over and over. Marcus seemed oblivious. Or more likely, completely aware and not caring. So Vex, right? He had glanced at my name badge. How long have you been working here? 3 cycles. How did you know my name? He pointed at my chest. Badge. Right. Yes, obviously. I was off my game, and you are here because I am thirsty, and this was the first establishment that looked like it served beverages. Marcus took another sip. Also, I need to figure out how to get off this station without spending credits I do not have. You know anyone hiring for, let us call it freelance problem solving? Before I could answer, the Korgoth mercenary stood up. Now, Korgoths are not subtle creatures. 7 feet tall, built like a tank, with 4 arms ending in claws that could shred durasteel. This particular one had clearly been drinking for a while and had that special glaze in his eyes that said violence was not just possible, but probable. He lumbered toward Marcus, each step making the floor plates rattle. You, the Korgoth growled, his translator struggling with his inebriated speech. Human, Deathworlder. Marcus slowly turned on his stool. That is me, hello? You think you tough? You think you scary? The Korgoth was now standing right behind Marcus, looming over him like a particularly aggressive mountain. Korgoth's strongest warriors in galaxy. We conquer 12 systems. We fear nothing. The bar had gone silent. This was bad. This was very bad. I reached for the panic button under the bar that would summon station security. They would arrive in approximately 4 minutes. I had seen what Korgoths could do in 4 seconds. Marcus did not move. Did not even tense. He just sat there, holding his water, looking up at the Korgoth with an expression I could not quite read. That is impressive, Marcus said quietly. 12 systems. Must have taken a lot of coordination. You mock me? Not at all. I am genuinely impressed. That is a logistical nightmare. The Korgoth blinked, confused. This was not going according to his internal script. You not scared? Marcus took another sip of water, set the glass down carefully, turned fully to face the mercenary, and smiled. Not a friendly smile. Oh no. This was something else entirely. Something that made my survival instincts, honed over millions of years of evolution, scream at me to get behind something solid. Let me tell you about my planet, Marcus said, voice conversational. We have weather patterns called hurricanes, spinning columns of wind and water that can level cities. We have geological events called earthquakes that split the ground open and swallow buildings. We have tiny organisms visible to the eye that can kill you in days. We have plants that will poison you if you touch them. Animals that will eat you if you are not paying attention. And other humans who will absolutely ruin your day if you give them a reason. The Korgoth was listening now, hand pausing halfway to his weapon. I have been chased by bears, fought off wild dogs, survived 3 different types of poisoning, lived through exposure that should have killed me twice. And do you know what the really fun part is? Marcus leaned forward slightly. We do not have any natural weapons. No claws, no armor plating, no venom. Just this. He held up his hands, fingers spread. Endurance, tool use, and spite, so much spite. The silence in the bar was absolute. Now Marcus continued, picking up his water glass again. You can absolutely try to fight me. You will probably win because you outweigh me by 100 pounds and have 4 arms. But I promise you, it will not be easy. It will not be quick, and you will remember it for the rest of your life. Or, he took a sip. You can go back to your drink, we can pretend this never happened, and everyone goes home with all their bits still attached. Your choice. The Korgoth stared, blinked slowly, then to my absolute shock, nodded once and returned to his seat. I released a breath I did not know I was holding. Marcus turned back to the bar, completely calm.
So, about those job opportunities?
I poured myself a drink. My hands were shaking. All 4 of them. You just bluffed a Korgoth war veteran. Was I bluffing? Fair point. There is a Valorian merchant captain, Burlix. She has been complaining about pirates raiding her cargo runs. Keeps saying she needs security but refuses to pay guild rates. Pirates. Fun. Where do I find this Burlix? I gave him directions to Docking Bay 7. Marcus finished his water, stood up and dropped a small credit chip on the bar. Keep the change. And thanks for the conversation, Vex. You run a good establishment. He walked toward the door, past tables full of various species who were all suddenly very interested in their drinks. Just before he left, he paused and called back. By the way, if anyone asks, I was never here, and if they insist I was, tell them I went to docking bay 12 instead of 7. The door hissed shut behind him. The bar erupted in conversation. Everyone talking at once, the Kilexians were practically vibrating with excitement. Even the Korgath seemed impressed, raising his glass in a sort of salute to the empty doorway. I stood there, processing. A human, an actual human, in my bar, drinking water, threatening Korgaths, acting like this was all perfectly normal. Qualix burbled over from the back office, his gelatinous form wobbling with curiosity. What happened? I felt elevated stress pheromone. We had a human visitor. A human? Here? Did they die? No. They scared a Korgoth and then left to hunt pirates. Qualix made a sound like bubbles popping in hot oil. Of course they did. Did they pay? I checked the credit chip. It was 3 times the cost of a glass of water. Yeah, boss. They paid. Good. Encourage them to come back. Interesting customers are good for business. He wobbled away again. I went back to cleaning glasses, but my mind was elsewhere. Something told me this Marcus human was going to make waves. Big ones. The kind that got people killed or made them legends, possibly both. The evening continued. More customers came and went. I served drinks, broke up 2 minor arguments, and listened to a Xylothian poet recite something about dying stars that made everyone in earshot slightly depressed. Around 3 hours later, my personal communicator buzzed. It was a station-wide alert. Disturbance in docking bay 7. Shots fired. Multiple injuries. Security responding. I felt my stomach drop. Or whatever the equivalent organ is for my species. Marcus, that idiot human, had walked straight into trouble. 20 minutes later, my communicator buzzed again. This time it was a direct message from an unknown sender. Vex, this is Marcus. Situation resolved. Berlix hired me. Also, I may have accidentally started a small fire. Station security is slightly upset. If anyone asks, you definitely told me docking bay 12. Appreciate you. Drinks are on me next time. I stared at the message, read it twice, then laughed. I could not help it. Korix burbled over again. What is funny? The humans set something on fire. Did they die? No. Disappointing. I mean good. Good for business. The rest of the shift passed in a blur. Word spread quickly through station gossip networks. A human had fought off 6 pirates single-handedly. No, wait. It was 12 pirates. Actually, some versions said it was a gang of armed mercenaries. The stories grew with each telling, as stories do. What I knew for certain was this. A Death World survivor had walked into my bar, drank water, scared a Korgoth, and then went out and did something violent enough to get station security involved but successful enough to land a job. Humans. Terrifying, efficient, and apparently willing to work for whoever paid them. As I was closing up for the night, the Korgath mercenary lumbered over to settle his tab. He paid without argument, then paused. That human, he rumbled. He tell truth. About his world, I had looked it up during a slow moment. Earth, Class 12 Death World. Gravity .98 standard. Atmospheric oxygen at levels that would be toxic to half the species in the galaxy. Native predators including creatures that could run faster than most vehicles and others that were essentially living weapons. Weather systems capable of destroying infrastructure. And humans had not just survived there. They had thrived, built civilizations, reached the stars. Yes, I told the Korgoth. He told the truth. The mercenary nodded slowly. Good thing I not fight him then. I want to live to old age. He left. I finished closing, turned off the lights, locked the doors. As I walked back to my quarters through the quiet station corridors, I found myself thinking about Marcus, about what kind of creature could evolve in hell and come out the other side smiling, about what it meant that humans were now out here in the wider galaxy, looking for work and adventure. The Galactic Council had strict regulations about Death World species, Quarantine protocols. Contact restrictions. It was supposed to protect everyone, keep the dangerous things contained, but regulations only worked when people followed them. And something told me humans were not particularly good at following regulations. I reached my quarters, keyed in my access code, and collapsed onto my sleep platform. Tomorrow would be another shift. More customers. More drinks. More stories. But somehow I knew that the story of Marcus the human was just beginning, and I had a front row seat. My last thought before sleep took me was a simple one. A question, really. What else were humans capable of? I had a feeling I was going to find out, whether I wanted to or not. 2 cycles passed before Marcus showed up at the fractured comet again. 2 cycles during which my bar became something of a minor celebrity location. Apparently, being the establishment where a human had their first documented appearance on Kairos 9 was good for business. Quelix was thrilled. I was exhausted. Every single patron wanted to hear the story. What did the human look like? What did they say? Did they really scare off Grace, the Korgath, with just words? I told the story so many times I could recite it in my sleep, which I did apparently, because my roommate Tixel complained about my unconscious narration 3 mornings in a row. The station itself had transformed into something resembling controlled chaos. Security had issued 17 different reports about Marcus: property damage, unauthorized weapons discharge, trespassing, disturbing the peace, assault on a licensed bounty hunter who apparently deserved it, and my personal favorite, theft of station security codes to rescue a Valorian cargo hauler from impound. Captain Burlix, the merchant who hired him, was now running the most successful trade route in the sector. Turns out having a human as security made pirates reconsider their life choices. 3 separate raiding parties had surrendered immediately upon learning a Death Worlder was aboard. One group actually apologized. Station Commander Thila, a no-nonsense Arculian with scales like polished chrome and a temper to match, had put out a warrant for Marcus. Not arrest, exactly. More like mandatory appearance for questioning and probable fines. The human had ignored it completely, so when Marcus walked through my door on a busy 6th cycle evening, wearing the same jacket but with fresh scorch marks and what looked suspiciously like dried blood on one sleeve, I experienced several emotions simultaneously: relief that he was alive, concern that whatever trouble followed him was about to become my problem, and genuine happiness to see him, which surprised me more than anything. Vex, Marcus called out, weaving through the crowded tables with the easy confidence of someone who either did not know they were wanted or simply did not care. My favorite bartender. Tell me you have something stronger than water this time. You are aware that Station Commander Thala wants to speak with you. Aware? I had coffee with her this morning. Well, she had coffee. I had something that tasted like burnt circuits but was allegedly nutritious. Marcus slid onto his usual stool. The same one from last time. It had become something of a shrine. 3 different species had offered me substantial credits for it. She is pleasant once you get past the death threats. I reached for a bottle of Tyrillian whiskey, something that would probably not kill a human but might make them wish they were dead. You had coffee with the station commander who issued a warrant for your appearance. She found me in Docking Bay 14 arguing with a fuel merchant about proper pricing structures. Very awkward. We talked. I paid some fines. She only threatened to space me twice, which I think shows remarkable restraint. Marcus accepted the glass I poured, sniffed it cautiously, then took a sip. His face did something complicated. That is horrible. I will take another. The bar had noticed him now. Conversations dropped to whispers. The Helexians from last time were back, practically bouncing with excitement. Rukas, the Korgath, raised his glass in greeting. Marcus returned the gesture. So, I said, pouring another measure of whiskey. Burlick's treating you well? She is excellent. Pays on time. Does not ask stupid questions. And her ship has a proper medical bay which I have already used twice. Marcus rotated his shoulder with a wince. Pirates are getting bolder. Last raid involved actual military-grade weapons. Someone is supplying them with serious hardware. That concerns me. Should concern everyone. Station this size, this far from patrol routes makes a tempting target. He downed the second whiskey faster than the first. But that is a problem for tomorrow. Tonight, I am off duty and in desperate need of social interaction that does not involve someone trying to kill me. Before I could respond, a figure approached the bar. Female Zentari species, with bioluminescent skin patterns that shifted colors based on emotion. Currently displaying confident purple with hints of curious green, she wore expensive clothing, the kind that screamed money and power, and moved with the grace of someone who knew exactly how dangerous they were. "You are the human," she said. Not a question. Marcus turned, eyebrow raised. "Guilty as charged. And you are." "Lissa, I represent certain business interests in this sector." Her skin shifted to ambitious orange. "I have a proposition." "I am listening." Lissa glanced at me. Then back to Marcus. "Perhaps somewhere more private? Anything you say to me Vex can hear. He is trustworthy. Also, he makes excellent drinks and I plan to have several more." Marcus gestured to the stool next to him. "Speakily or do not speak at all." Her skin flashed annoyed red before settling back to purple. She sat. "Very well. I need someone eliminated." The bar did not go quiet this time because nobody else could hear the conversation over the general noise, but I went very still. Assassination jobs were technically legal in certain jurisdictions under specific circumstances, with proper licensing and approximately 7,000 forms filed in triplicate. They were also universally understood to be incredibly dangerous and morally complicated. Marcus took another sip of whiskey. "Eliminated as in killed or eliminated as in removed from a position of power. Does it matter?" "Yes." Lissa studied him for a long moment. Her skin cycled through several colors I did not recognize. "Removed from power. Permanently. Death is optional but acceptable." "Who is the target?" "Vornis. He runs the pirate syndicate that has been raiding shipping lanes, including your employer's routes." That got Marcus's attention. I could see it in the way his posture shifted, suddenly more focused. "You have proof of this?" Lissa produced a data chip, sliding it across the bar. "Everything you need. His location, security details, known associates. Vornis has been operating with impunity because he pays off station security and has friends in the merchant guild. If he has protection, why come to me? Because you are an unknown variable. You have no allegiances here, no history, and everyone knows Death Worlders are uniquely suited to violence." Her skin went calculating silver. "I will pay you 50,000 credits. Half now, half upon completion." Marcus picked up the data chip, rolling it between his fingers. Thinking. I could practically see the calculations happening behind his eyes. Weighing risks against rewards. Morality against practicality. 60,000, he said finally. "And I want information on his supply chain. Who is providing the military hardware? Why? Because I am curious. And because knowing who supplies pirates seems like useful information." Lissa's skin shifted through several rapid colors before settling on agreement green. "Done. But I want this handled within 3 cycles. You will have your answer within 2. They shook hands, which seemed to surprise Lissa. Apparently, humans had customs about physical contact during business dealings. She left the data chip, transferred 30,000 credits to an account Marcus provided, and departed with a swirl of expensive fabric. Marcus immediately plugged the chip into a portable reader, scrolling through information with practiced efficiency. "Well, this just got interesting. You are going to hunt pirates. I am going to have a conversation with someone who needs to reconsider their career path. Hunting implies sport. This is more like aggressive negotiation." That sounds like semantics to justify violence. All language is semantics to justify something, Vex. Might as well be honest about it. Marcus finished his drink. "Tell me something. You have been on this station for 3 cycles. Have you noticed an increase in pirate activity?" I thought about it. "Yes, actually. Used to be maybe 1 raid per cycle. Now it is 3 or 4. Casualties increasing too. Last attack killed 6 crew members on a transport ship." "Exactly. This Vornis character is not just raiding for profit. He is making a statement. Building reputation. Probably planning something bigger." Marcus stood, pocketing the data chip. "Which means I need to stop him before whatever he is planning comes to fruition. You could just take the money and leave." "I could. But then Berlix's ship gets hit, Maybe with me aboard, maybe not. Either way, people die who do not need to. And I made a promise to myself a long time ago. He met my eyes, and there was something there. Something old and tired and absolutely uncompromising. I do not let innocent people die if I can prevent it. Call it a character flaw. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Vex. If anyone asks, you did not see me tonight. And if Lissa asks, tell her I am considering her offer but need time to think. Misdirection is our friend. You are not considering it. You already agreed. I know, but Vornis probably has spies everywhere. Let them think I am uncertain. Makes the surprise more effective. And with that cryptic statement, Marcus left. Grux slumbered over as soon as the door closed. That human going to fight Vornis? Apparently. Good. Vornis killed many good beings. Deserves what coming to him. The Korvath paused. You think human will survive? Honestly, I had no idea. Vornis was legendary in the worst ways. Vicious cunning with resources that made him nearly untouchable. Taking him on was borderline suicidal. But then again, humans had evolved on a planet that tried to kill them daily. I think, I said carefully, that Vornis is about to learn why you do not anger something from a death world. Grux laughed, a sound like grinding metal. I like your optimism. Is foolish, but I like it. The next cycle and a half were tense. Station gossip networks buzzed with speculation. Marcus had been spotted in the industrial sector, asking questions about shipping manifests, then in the lower commercial district, talking to information brokers, then nowhere at all, vanished like smoke. Lissa returned once, her skin colors indicating stress and impatience. Have you seen him? No, I lied smoothly. Marcus had actually stopped by twice, both times through the service entrance, both times looking progressively more exhausted and dangerous. Maybe he decided the job was too risky. If he took my money and ran, I will find him. Good luck with that. Humans are apparently very good at not being found. She left in a swirl of angry red bioluminescence. 2 cycles after Marcus accepted the job, station alarms blared. Emergency alert. A whole breach in Section 9. All personnel to safety stations. The usual organized panic that came with potential station-wide emergencies. I sealed the bar, securing the better bottles and making sure Kulix got to safety. His gelatinous form did not handle rapid decompression well. Then I headed to the nearest observation deck because I am stupid and curious in equal measure. The view showed Section 9, which housed secondary cargo facilities and some low-rent habitation units. Smoke poured from a gaping hole in the hull, emergency force fields flickering as they tried to contain the breach. Security ships swarmed like angry insects, and there, visible through the transparent aluminum windows, was a ship. Small, fast, painted in garish colors that marked it as belonging to the pirate syndicate. It was on fire, not damaged, not disabled. Actually on fire, flames somehow burning in the vacuum of space, which should not have been possible except someone had clearly used incendiary weapons that did not care about physics. The pirate ship listed badly, then exploded. Debris scattered like deadly confetti. My communicator buzzed. Vex. Marcus. Slight change of plans. Vornis is dead. So are most of his lieutenants. The rest surrendered to station security about 5 minutes ago. Also, there may be more property damage than I originally anticipated. In my defense, they shot first. I stared at the flaming wreckage. Marcus, what did you do? My job. Very thoroughly. Listen, I cannot come back to the station for a few cycles. Ithol is upset about the hull breach. Something about repair costs and insurance claims. I will be in touch. The line went dead. Over the next several hours, the full story emerged. Pieced together from security reports, eyewitness accounts, and some truly spectacular surveillance footage that got leaked to station networks. Marcus had infiltrated Vornis's base, which was hidden in an abandoned mining facility attached to the station. Alone, armed with weapons he had apparently assembled from spare parts and sheer determination, he had systematically dismantled their entire operation, destroyed their weapons cache, freed a dozen captives they had been holding for ransom, and when Vornis tried to escape via his personal ship, Marcus had disabled it mid-launch, causing it to crash back into its own hangar bay. The explosion had caused the hull breach. Vornis had not survived. Neither had his command structure. The remaining pirates surrendered immediately when station security arrived, probably because the alternative was facing whatever monster had just torn through their defenses like tissue paper. Station Commander Thilla gave a press conference. She looked tired. The pirate threat has been neutralized. We appreciate the assistance of independent contractors. However, we would like to remind all visitors that explosive devices used in station facilities require proper permits and filling out forms. Many forms. She did not mention Marcus by name. Plausible deniability. Probably. Lissa transferred the remaining 30,000 credits to Marcus's account, then left the station entirely. Smart move. Anyone associated with Vornis was suddenly very unpopular. Captain Berlick stopped by the bar that evening, her Valorian features arranged in something approximating a smile. Your human friend saved my entire crew. Maybe my life. The pirates were planning a major assault on my ship next cycle. We found the attack plans in their database. He is not my friend. He is a customer. Sure. A customer you lied to protect when Lissa came asking. A customer you worry about. She slid a credit chip across the bar. For Marcus. Next time he visits, drinks on me. For a year. That is generous. He earned it. She stood to leave, then paused. You know what the scary part is? I reviewed the security footage. All of it. He never hesitated. Never stopped. Just moved through that facility like death itself. And when it was over, he made jokes about paperwork. She shook her head. Death worlders. They build different out there. After she left, I poured myself a drink. The expensive stuff. I needed it. 4 cycles later, Marcus returned. He looked different somehow. Tired. Yes. Some fresh scars visible on his hands. But also lighter, like a weight had lifted. He sat on his stool. The shrine stool. The property damage. No. Your credits? Yes. He laughed. Genuine and warm. Fair. I come bearing gifts, though. Well, information. He produced another data chip. Remember how I asked Lissa about Vornis's supply chain? Found something interesting. The weapons were coming from off-station. Military surplus from the Terran fringe wars. Someone with serious connections. That sounds like information that could get you killed. Most information worth having falls into that category. Marcus accepted the whiskey I poured without being asked. I passed it along to Thila. She is opening an investigation. Should keep her busy and away from my activities for a while. Very strategic. I learned from the best. Humanity's entire history is strategic misdirection, interrupted by occasional outbursts of incredible violence. He sipped his drink. Also, I got paid. A lot, so I am buying a round for everyone. Spread some goodwill. The bar erupted in cheers when I announced free drinks. Marcus smiled, soaking in the positive attention. Grux came over. Massive and intimidating as always. Human Marcus, you did good thing. Station safer now. Thanks, Grux. How is your drinking problem coming along? Is not problem, is hobby. Fair distinction. They shook hands. Or rather Marcus's hand and Grux's massive claw. A gesture of respect between warriors. The evening progressed in a pleasant blur. Marcus told the Eldadid stories of his infiltration, leaving out the truly dangerous parts. People laughed, drank, and for a few hours the fractured comet felt less like a dive bar on a backwater station, and more like something approaching a community. Around midnight station time, Marcus pulled me aside. Vex. Real talk for a moment. All right, I need to leave Kairos 9 soon. Berlix has a long-haul run to the core systems. Good money. But also, I am getting too visible here. Too known. That attracts attention I would rather avoid. Something in my chest felt heavy. Disappointment? Maybe? You are leaving. Not immediately. Few more cycles. But yeah. Eventually. He met my eyes. You ever think about leaving? Seeing what else is out there? Sometimes. But this is home. Comfortable. Safe. Safe is good. Safe keeps you alive. Marcus paused. But safe does not make stories worth telling. Are you recruiting me? I am suggesting that a 4-armed bartender with excellent multitasking skills and a level head would make an outstanding ship's quartermaster. Or cook. Or medic. Humans are not picky about job titles. He grinned. Berlix is expanding her crew. Could use someone trustworthy. I stared at him. At this creature from a death world who had walked into my bar, disrupted everything, and somehow made me question my entire life. I will think about it, I said finally. That is all I ask. The evening wound down. Customers left. Grix stumbled out singing something in Korgothi that the translator refused to interpret. The Helixians departed in a cloud of excited chatter. Finally, it was just Marcus and me. Him nursing his whiskey. Me cleaning glasses on autopilot. You know what the weird part is? Marcus said quietly. Everyone thinks humans are these terrifying death world monsters. And sure, we can be. But mostly we are just tired beings trying to get by. Same as everyone else. We just happen to come from a place that taught us how to survive the unsurvivable. Is that what you are doing? Surviving? I am trying. Some days are better than others. He finished his drink. Thanks for the conversation, Vex. And for not immediately calling security that first night. You make good credits. Bad for business to alienate profitable customers. Sure, business. He stood, leaving payment that was again too generous. See you around, Marcus? I called as he reached the door. For what it is worth, I am glad you walked into my bar. He smiled, the genuine kind that reached his eyes. Me too, friend. Me too. After he left, I stood in the empty bar, surrounded by clean glasses and the lingering scent of various alcohols, thinking about death worlds and survivors. About humans and their impossible resilience. About choices and safe havens and stories worth telling. My communicator had Berlix's contact information. Had for cycles now. Just never called it. I pulled it up. Stared at the screen. Outside, Kairos 9 continued its rotation. Safe. Predictable. Comfortable, and suddenly, devastatingly boring. I pressed the call button. Berlix answered, on the second tone. Yes, this is Vex. From the fractured comet. I hear you are hiring. There was a pause. Then laughter. Marcus said you might call. When can you start? Give me 2 cycles to settle things here. Done. Welcome aboard, Vex. Fair warning though. Life with a human crew member is never boring. I am counting on it. I ended the call, looked around my bar one last time as just a bartender. Tomorrow I would tell Quilix, would start packing, would begin a completely new chapter. Tonight, I poured one last drink, raised it to the empty stool where a Death World survivor had sat. To news stories, I said to no one, and drank deep. 3 cycles later, I stood in the cargo bay of Berlix's ship, the Wandering Prophet, my belongings packed, my old life left behind. Marcus walked by carrying a crate of medical supplies, grinning when he saw me. Ready for adventure? I flexed all 4 arms. Ready as I will ever be. Good enough. Fair warning. We have a job picking up ore from a mining colony near the Serpentis Nebula. Reports say it is haunted. Haunted? Probably not. But miners are superstitious. Should be fun. Should be terrifying, more likely. But I had made my choice. A Death World survivor had walked into my bar, and somehow, impossibly, given me the courage to walk out of it, toward whatever came next. And honestly, I could not wait to find out.